Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and to another video. This time I'll be talking about how to use DSLR lenses and SLR lenses in the case of the 80s lens that I'm using right now on a mirrorless camera and what adapter options you have to use them. There will also be more about this specific lens and another one that I have in an upcoming short, so if you want to subscribe and you'll be able to see that coming up soon. Firstly, you need to know the difference between a DSLR lens and a normal mirrorless lens. For example, this kit lens that came with my camera, EFM mount, and this Canon 50mm nifty 50, everyone uses this lens for the standard Canon EF mount, which I think they're slowly getting rid of. They have got rid of quite a lot of these lenses recently, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. The main difference is where the lens focuses the image to, that distance. So the main difference is the distance between where the lens mounts and where the sensor is. So where it focuses the image that you expect to take. The distance between that mount and the sensor is vastly larger on DSLRs compared to mirrorless cameras. You can see where the sensor is on the side of your camera by finding this icon. The line going through the icon is where the plane of where the sensor is. Here you can see the distance between that line and the mount on the 1300D is vastly larger than the same on my mirrorless M200. This means that adapter from this 50mm EF lens to the EFM mount on the M200 is going to be as thick as the difference between those two distances, so that it's focusing the image in the correct place. So that could be as easy as getting a tube adapter like this. As you can see, there's no elements in there or anything, and that's the basics. You following still? Good, because it gets a little bit more complicated depending on your sensor, depending what that is. So if you have a crop sensor like I do, which has a sensor of APS-C or Micro Four Thirds, that size sensor, you will get a cropped image. So the image, the full frame image that the lens projects, you will only be picking up the center section of it. So the difference between those two sizes is what your crop factor is. And full frame basically means 35mm. That's the standard. That's the size of the film that you'd put into a disposable camera. That's the same size you're looking at for a full frame sensor. There are some that are larger. Most of them are crop. A lot of them are full. So they're usually full frame or smaller usually. There are some that are bigger, but they're not common. To get around the crop factor, you can use speed boosters like the Viltrox I'm using now. It basically takes the light coming in for the full frame size and project it down to a smaller size sensor. That's effectively how it works. In my case, it's a 0.71 times factor, I believe. It varies on the sensor that you have, and in the case of APS-C sensors, it varies on the make, because Canon has a different size APS-C sensor to Sony. So it's still, make sure you get the right one. Also, if you are using a lens with autofocus, it will keep the autofocus because it just passes through the same traces. So you can still adjust aperture and everything you would usually be able to do. Because there are elements inside these and they're not just a metal tube, they are more expensive. But you do get a lot more out of it. It is a lot more useful and more clever than a metal tube. And that's it. So now you should now be able to know what you need, whether you need a speed booster or just a normal adapter, or they're the options for you. So if you have a full frame mirrorless, you don't need the speed booster. You can get just a standard adapter. You don't need magnification. And the main reason for me doing this video is because you can buy older lenses secondhand that are just as good as new lenses, and it just opens up opportunities for you. For example, I can use this old Sigma lens on my new mirrorless camera. It's not the same mount, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for it because you have the adapter. This costs secondhand like a quarter of the cost it was new, and you instantly have much better image quality over the kit lens. And it just makes it much better because Right now, the EFM mount that I've got now, Canon on their website are selling about 8 different types. The older, larger EF mount that you usually use for DSLR cameras from Canon, they have 23 different lenses. So immediately opens up the options for you to get whatever lens that you want, not what they want to sell you. And also that is after they've discontinued quite a lot of lenses in the last couple of years. I think they're slowly getting rid of a lot of their older lenses to make way for making newer EFM lenses. Like recently, only in the last year or two, have Sigma released any EFM mount lenses, but mirrorless does seem to be the way forward. I have 2 cameras, as you've seen. I have my DSLR, which I mainly use for stills because video is not that good on a DSLR compared to a mirrorless, because DSLRs aren't made really for taking video. They're mainly made for taking pictures, and then video is a side thought for them. But if you want to get much older lenses like these 80s Tamron lenses, you can get them for really cheap and bring life back into really old but still really good lenses. Like, these are solid, but they're manual. But then again, a lot of the times when you're filming, you want to shoot manual because it's more reliable. You get it in focus and you're set. You don't have any focus searching or anything like that. It's good to have a good set of manual lenses, and once you start shooting manual, you don't go back really, unless you like, I don't feel like shooting manual today. But yeah, getting adapters opens up the door. It does mean that you have to keep on using an adapter, but it also gives you a lot more options. But yeah, that's been why I use adapters and speed boosters, and basically what you need to know to be able to use old lenses on new cameras. If you have any older lenses that you'd want me to look at, some that I've not heard of before and like you should think that everyone should have but doesn't, put them down in the comment section below. If you want to know more about what I use, what setup I have, and that kind of thing, put that down there as well. If you like this, give it a like. Don't forget, if you want to subscribe, I will be putting up a short about my old manual lenses that I inherited. And subscribe and you'll see those. I will see you next time, guys. Bye.